Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
Right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with your other host,
Karen.
And today we are going to talk about what?
Chevelle and 3 Days Grace.
Yes, Chevelle and 3 Days Grace.
Well, I didn't know if it's like co-headlining.
It is a co-headlining tour,
Okay.
yeah, with Chevelle and 3 Days Grace, as we've said now 3 times.
Are you sure it was Chevelle and 3 Days Grace?
I am, yes. Also with special guest, Loathe.
Loathe.
From the UK.
Yep.
This was, I was going to say Friday, but it wasn't a Friday. It was a Wednesday? Doesn't matter. September 13th.
It was Wednesday. Yeah.
September 13th at the Aragon Ballroom again. Going back there for another show.
Yep.
We paid $55 for our tickets with $15.75 in fees and $7.08 in tax. No tour name.
They didn't have a tour?
Just a blank tour name.
Are you sure?
Yep. I found one of the headliners, or not headlines, one of the announcement articles that came out, and it's the little image it has is just Chevelle, 3 Days Grace, with special guest Loathe. Some really cool artwork going straight down in the middle, and at the very bottom, Live Nation. According to this little thing I found here, this is a Live Nation produced concert.
Oh.
So I don't think Live Nation produces many concerts. I think we don't know much about like the promotion and the booking of concerts, right? That's sort of the behind the scenes that you don't necessarily see a lot of.
Well, I've seen a lot of like Live Nation Presents. Would that be what this is?
Maybe that's what this is.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
I mean, yeah, I guess all the stuff at like Tinley Park and whatnot, those are always at like Live Nation venues.
Yeah.
I think all of them. No, because I guess Rob Zombie, we just saw them, and that wasn't Live Nation. That was Hy-Vee.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, like I've seen a lot of Live Nation Presents. So I wonder if it's the same type
maybe
of concept. But I think you were trying to say like that they're taking over like the promotion. They're taking over the
Well, there was that aspect of it too, right? Because I do know like Mammoth Productions, who did Line Fest. They do a bunch of stuff in the Midwest in like Iowa, Kansas City, and Omaha area, I think. So there's like regional promoters who put together shows and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess you're right. I do see a lot of stuff that says Live Nation Presents. So maybe I'm stretching here and need to understand more. But that's one aspect of live concerts that we don't know a whole lot about that I definitely want to know more about.
Yeah, like the promotion and the putting on the...
Yeah. Just all of the stuff. Because, I mean, there's so much that goes in behind the scenes that you don't see as a fan from, like, just going to a show. Like, it's a big, moving operation. So, but that was just weird that no tour name, 2 headliners, a special guest, and then Live Nation. That's it.
Yeah, I think at the end of the year, one of our things is, like, top tour name.
Yes.
So, no tour name.
Yeah, I guess.
Count?
No, I mean, it counts, I guess, if you like that, but I don't know. We'll talk about that probably at the end of the year. At the end of the year. Yeah, anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. The Aragon again, going back there. You're kind of a fan of the Aragon. I think you like that venue quite a bit.
I don't know. We've been to some more venues now, and I might be changing my mind on it.
Okay. I definitely changed my mind on this. It used to be one of my least favorite venues, and the last few shows we've gone to have been great. My biggest complaint has always been getting in and getting out of Aragon. We haven't seen a show there in the winter when you had to do coat check, so we'll see how that gets. I think we have a couple shows later this year.
Yeah.
But it's actually been really good. They've rechanged their entry process. They're using the newer full body scanners, so I mean, it's kind of invasive. It's kind of, depending on what your thoughts on that security aspect of it are.
I mean, it's not like the TSA scanner.
It's not like that. No, it's not. But some of the new venues, like especially like regularly when we go to Cubs games, they use this kind of scanner as well. You just walk right through, and then it will flag certain items if you have them. But we've never gotten pulled over. Never, like even your bag, you don't have to look at your bag anymore. You just walk straight through.
Yeah.
I don't know though if Aragon. I don't think bags are even allowed, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe like small purses and stuff.
Well, I mean we'll get into it, but one of the people that was on stage had a backpack on.
Oh shit, she did. Yeah, but it was the clear ones, right?
Yeah, it was a clear one.
Okay.
Yeah, so you must be able to bring a bag different.
in. Yeah. I forgot about that.
I mean, we don't take bags to shows, so.
Yeah, I just don't. there's nobody going through when we went through.
Yeah.
So if you got pulled aside. I know when you go to Cubs games, you don't get pulled aside with bags unless there's the scanner detects something.
Yeah.
But all I'm trying to say is that's really drastically improved the getting into the venue process. It used to be such a pain in the ass to get in, and now it's so quick and easy. And that was one of my biggest complaints. That sort of resolved, and now this venue has kind of went from like the bottom of my list toward the middle to top of my list. I would say. I really like this venue. The aesthetics of the venue are super fucking awesome. The sound is great. One big plus for you is the stage is high up, so you can see it from almost anywhere. I like this venue a lot now.
Yeah. I mean, I really like it. Just I don't know if it's like my top venue.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying it's changed for me over time.
Okay.
Similar to House of Blues has gone from one of our favorites to one of our least favorites.
Yeah. I don't like House of Blues anymore.
Right. But getting into the show, I mean, that's enough for the venue. We've been there before. We've talked about it in other podcasts.
Yeah. We might do some venue-specific podcasts someday.
Yeah, we should think about that.
Like where we dig into a certain venue.
A little bit more, like the history and whatnot of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, this venue is also like up in, I guess it's called like the theater district or something.
I think so, yeah.
Because
Well, I don't think it's actually the theater district. I think that's downtown. I think that's what that is. But there's like the Riviera. There's that really old one that's no longer
Uptown something or other. I think Uptown Theater.
Uptown Theater. I think that's right.
I don't think it's owned. It was owned by somebody, obviously, but it's not really in operation right now.
It's not. No. And then Aragon.
Yep, those three are like all within a block, like all the same
like
corner.
Ballrooms, not like theaters. Where the theater district is downtown by what I don't even know what it's called, but like Chicago Theater and stuff is like right there. Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to get to is they're all old Chicago theater type ballroom buildings. Yeah. I don't know what they were in the past, if they were theaters in the past, or if they were always ballrooms or what.
I don't know. Yeah.
Like not Aragon, let's see, Riviera. That's more of a theater style that it looks like they took the seats out potentially.
Possibly.
And then Uptown Theater, we think it's called. We've never actually been there, so we don't know what it's like on the inside. Anyway, really cool area, really cool old, like all these buildings have so much character just because they are old and things were built differently way back in the day. So I don't know, really cool place. One other thing to note before getting into the actual show that was kind of an annoyance and really frustrated us, I would say, is the time. Yeah. This started at what?
5:30.
5:30. Not doors. The show started at 5:30.
Yeah, like at 5:30 too.
And for people who work like us on a work night, on a school night, like this is what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
it was hard to get there.
You had to leave work early, rush home, change, and then we rushed up there.
We got there at like 5:29.
Yeah, we got through the door, and as we're getting through the door, you can hear the crowd roar and the band starting to play. Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck? This is early. Yeah, and for 3 bands too. So I kind of forgot it was a co-headlining show. So I mean, you do get an hour and a half for Chevelle and for 3 Days Grace. So there's your 3 hours. But Loathe only played.
Well, 3 Days Grace only played for an hour and 15.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like it's a full set.
Yeah, you don't get like a 40-minute set or whatever.
Right, you're not getting a reduced set. Yeah. Loathe, though, was a typical opener set of like 20, 30 minutes or so. Yeah. That was a bit frustrating for sure.
And this is like the second concert recently that has been 5:30.
The other one was Corey Taylor.
Or was it 6? Was Corey Taylor 6 o'clock?
I can't remember. See, I know Corey Taylor was later in the evening. See, doors were at 6 originally and then 7:30. I think they got moved down to 6:30, so an hour earlier. So at least it was a little better.
Yeah, that is a little bit better. It's just, I don't know, it's weird leaving a show at 9:30 or 9:40.
Well, I mean, we can get into it now, but we got home, and when we go to concerts in the middle of the week, we typically, especially because they start before we usually eat dinner, so we can't eat dinner. We're not going to eat at the show because that's expensive and blah, 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 whatever. We'll usually get frozen pizzas beforehand and have those in our freezer, just like 2 or 3 ready to go. And then we'll come home from a show, pop it in the oven, relax a little bit, kind of decompress a little bit, eat our frozen pizza, hang out, and then go to bed, right? And usually that could be like midnight or 1 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah, like 11:30. 12:30ish.
Yeah. Makes for a shitty morning the next morning, but whatever. It's like we enjoy going to the concert, right? It's worth it. This time we ate our food. We came home, cooked our pizza, ate our pizza, sat there, watched some YouTube, some music videos on YouTube and whatnot, right? And I think I looked at you and it was 10:30, 11. I remember being.
It may have been. I remember making a joke when we got home, like, "Oh, sorry, Cats, you don't get dinner for another 2 hours because we're at a show." Like, so we got home really early.
I just remember like finishing eating pizza and being like, "What the fuck? This is. We should be leaving the show right now, not coming back. Like not completely done type thing."
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's weird. I didn't like it, especially the having to rush to get there. Like,
yeah, I didn't like that.
If I had to work downtown too, I work from home. Like, it would have sucked for both of us to try to. We would have had to like leave our shit at work and figure something out. Like, we've done that in the past when we both worked downtown.
Yeah, it's harder though when you don't like. For my work schedule, I don't have to go in the next day.
Yeah.
So I have to bring my stuff home.
Right.
And I wasn't about to leave it there and do an extra day in the office.
Right. So I don't know. That was one thing that was like, God, this is really stupid. I hate this. I don't know why it is, other than there wasn't really an age restriction. I saw a lot of younger people there.
Yeah, there were younger people. There was kids.
Like, I did see a kid just like sitting there on the phone, like on the ground.
Kids. Yeah, there was a couple kids there. So,
but
I don't know.
I'm all like, we could do a whole 666 on this because I think a while ago Jamie Lee Curtis came out and there was like a whole bunch of articles about it where she's like, I would love to see matinee shows.
Yeah, like concerts in the middle of the day.
And I kind of agree. Like, if I can go see a show at noon or 1 or 2 and then leave by like 7, that's cool. I can do that. I'd like that. But starting at 5 and leaving at 9, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like this whole thing where maybe there's a genre of music or a genre of shows that you would like say more classical or something. This would be appropriate, I think, to have it done by 10. Not a matinee, but have it done before like 10 o'clock.
Gotcha, like a theater type show.
But then if you think about it, like an EDM show or even some more party music. Like, those don't even start until, like, 10 p.m.
I was going to say, like, right now we're recording this on Friday the 15th. Riot Fest started today.
Oh, yeah.
And
I keep forgetting.
Lala was a few weeks back, right? Yeah. About a month ago now. And all of these two festivals have after shows.
Yes.
That don't even start till 10 or 11 at night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was nothing going on after this show, so I don't know like why you had to be done so early.
Yeah, that's true. Because if they were doing like a second show, that would make sense why you had to be done.
Right.
But they didn't have anything scheduled.
So I don't know why it was so early. It's city ordinance, maybe.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of is because like Wrigleyville has ordinances that you have to be done at a certain time or like only so many late night events and that sort of thing. But I don't know why that area would.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know. Anyways.
We don't know. We talked a lot about this. It was definitely something we were not happy about when we looked back. Like, we've like had to look up the time that we're going. Like, what time again?
Yeah, I kept thinking 5:30 was doors.
Right.
Like, I kept trying to look and everything said 5:30, and I'm just like, that's so early.
It is so fucking early.
But,
yeah, so not a fan of that. But it didn't ruin the evening by any means.
No.
We were able to make it on time-ish. It's a little bit of Loathe, but not a whole lot.
Like the first song, maybe. So, yeah, it wasn't bad.
But yeah, let's get into it then. Get into Loathe. Why don't you start us with the set list?
So they started with Aggressive Evolution, New Faces in the Dark, Heavy is the Head That Falls with the Weight of 1,000 Thoughts. I like that song title. It's really long, though.
Super long.
Screaming, Is It Really You? And then they ended with Gourd.
Yeah, as you pointed out, the third track, Heavy is the Head That Falls Within the Weight of 1,000 Thoughts. Really like that title. Really fucking long-ass title.
Yeah,
Heavy is the Head, maybe. Let's narrow it down just a bit.
Just keep it there.
Heavy Head with Thoughts. Something like that. I don't know. That's a long-ass fucking name. But yeah, whatever. The other thing I knew, we didn't know anything about this band going in.
Yeah, I've never heard of them. I only looked them up to see that they're from the UK.
Yeah, and I picked that up only in between the in between the songs with the crowd interaction of the talking, because then it's like, oh, you can hear the accent, but during the song, like, no, I didn't really pick up on that at all.
Yeah.
Good sound, kind of a deep death metal-y kind of
Yeah,
deathcore type thing.
the music is like a deathcore type music, but then the vocals is more, I think, doomy vocals.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I even listened to, I don't know if you've listened to Loathe since.
I haven't, no.
Okay. So I listened to them, when did we go? Wednesday. So I must have listened to them a lot on Thursday because at the show, it was really hard to hear the vocals.
It really was.
So I was like, oh, is it like the mic's turned way down or like what's going on? But even when you're listening to it, the vocals are very low.
Are they
which
really?
reminded me of like a doom vocal that's more like the low sound that's more just like drawn out vocals. That's probably the wrong way to describe it. But they do have a partner song with Sleep Token.
Oh.
So if you think about how Sleep Token is with like the more melodic, like low vocals, that song
like the deep voice vocal type things.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like the low, drawn out, like where you like kind of hold on to your words and stuff as you sing.
I gotcha. So like you're just holding on to the syllables
Yeah.
as you. Yeah.
So that I feel like they try to do with their or is in their music as well. That same style of vocals. Okay. That's my opinion. Now somebody could probably say
I thought I heard more screamy aspects to it.
So there were some, but the screams were even like very low, in my opinion.
And when you say were, you mean when you listen to it the second or third time, or even gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not like a death metal or a deathcore scream.
Gotcha.
Or
no,
growl.
no, yeah, it's not that.
And also they have backup vocals by the bassist, I believe.
Yep.
So that's more of like a low, clean vocal. Like nothing is very pronounced for the vocals, so that's why I'm kind of like comparing it to more doom, where the vocals go with the music. It's like part of the sound.
Yeah. I see what you're saying now with doom. Like when I think of doom, I don't think of it in those terms, but I agree with you. With doom, definitely the vocals complement the musical style very, very well. And I guess like you're right. Like it didn't sound the greatest in terms of like the vocals when we were there, which just could have been a bad night. We've been at the shows where the audio quality with vocals you're still tweaking out, especially for an opener. So,
but that's even how it is mixed on Spotify.
See, that's the thing. I haven't listened to that yet, so I don't. Maybe it's easier to listen to in Spotify. Maybe it's not. I don't know, because then you don't have all the other ambient noise that's going around too.
Yeah.
Any case, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
I enjoyed it
Definitely
too,
something I wanted to check out again.
I want to hear more of it, like because I only listened to it for probably about an hour and a half.
Okay. Do they have a pretty deep catalog?
I thought that they had quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, like I didn't really look at all of it, but I felt like, I didn't look at their albums because I just started the first song on Spotify and then I go.
You just let it run.
And then I just let it run, yeah. And that's why the song with Sleep Token came up because it was just on their list. So
you start with like the top song, the number one song, and just let it go from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have 4 albums, so I mean.
Okay, when they start? When
2016.
Okay, so new-ish.
Yeah, and they have a couple singles and stuff. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was great. I thought the energy was great on set too, or on stage. Not a whole lot in terms of effects. Mainly.
No, yeah, they didn't.
Mainly just red lights.
Yeah.
They didn't even really change from the red light itself. It was basically red light the entire way through.
Yeah, you're right.
They did the I don't want to say standard, but a lot of bands do like the let's see your lights on your phones, bring your phones up.
A lot of bands have been doing that.
A lot of bands have where you bring down the house lights and bring that up. That was kind of cool.
Or maybe we just noticed it because a lot of bands recently have been doing it.
Yeah, I don't want to say a lot of bands do it, but I think
we've just seen a lot of them recently.
Recently, there's been
what I was trying
3.
To say. Yeah.
Like Disturbed does the light, which is just their normal.
Yeah, that's normal.
But it's a little different than where, like Oxymorons and these guys, where it was basically let's bring down all the lights and use your phones as our light.
Yeah.
It's just kind of cool. I know you said you don't like pulling your phone up and doing that kind of stuff.
I don't do it. Yeah.
I
did it at Oxymoron because there was like nobody there. So
yeah,
I was
there
like,
was. Yeah.
They're gonna notice if I'm not doing it.
I used to not do it also, and then I've kind of like, oh, fuck it, whatever. They asked me to do it, I'll go ahead and do it. But yeah, otherwise, really good set. Really cool to see these guys for the first time, in my opinion. Definitely somebody I want to check out again. Live, I don't know. Definitely something like if they're around and we're free, let's go
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah.
Or if they're an opener, definitely, or at a festival type thing. But not something. I guess let's put it this way: if there's these guys and another band I'm more into, say Chemist,
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to go to see Chemist
Yeah.
more over these guys, unfortunately. But again, they're in town, nothing else going on. For sure, let's go check them out.
Yeah. I want to see them maybe at a smaller club.
Okay.
I know that they said that this tour is like the most
I
or
forgot
the
about
largest
that.
crowd that they've played at in the U.S. But in my mind, I think that their sound would be cool, like at a Reggie's. I'm just thinking like their sound would be a cooler or not cooler. That's the wrong way. Their sound kind of fits like a smaller
Fits that
club.
vibe better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely forgot about them saying like with this tour with 3 Days Grace and Chevelle that these are the largest crowds they've played to.
Yeah. In the U.S., they said.
Did they say the U.S.?
Yeah, they
I thought
did
they
say
said
in
just
the
the
US.
largest crowds we played
No,
to.
I heard him say in the U.S.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
hear that, but okay. Any case, largest crowds they played to. So
Yeah. That's really cool.
yeah, good for them. Like I said, I like their set a lot. The one thing I did get confused on originally was their name because I thought you said it was Loathe. We get up there and their backdrop is Loathe as one.
Yeah.
And it's like, usually it's not like a whole phrase for a band. It's just their logo or their name. This being Loathe as one is like, oh, maybe their name is Loathe as one.
Well, so we saw another band earlier this year, like Void or Avoid.
No, it was Void.
Void, and they used to be Avoid. Avoid the Void.
Avoid the Void was
Yeah.
their original name. Void is their new name, I believe.
Yeah. So I wonder if this is similar because even their Instagram name is Loathe as one.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought that was interesting because I was like, I thought it was just a one name band, but maybe not. And then even they were during the crowd interaction part was like, we are Loathe. Thank you for coming and seeing us. Blah blah whatever
Yeah.
the thing they said was. But then it was like just Loathe as well. It was like, oh, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, good time all around. Glad we got to see them.
Yeah. I want to check them out again. So they're cool.
Glad we didn't miss too much of their
I know,
stuff,
right?
too,
We only missed
so.
like one song, so that's good.
Yeah, easily could have missed all of it or almost all of it.
Yeah. We could have missed half of 3 Days Grace if we thought 5:30 was Doors.
That too, yes. And speaking of, 3 Days Grace was next.
Yes.
What did we have for a set list?
They started with So-Called Life, Animal I Have Become, I Am Machine, Home, The Good Life, Pain, The Mountain, Painkiller, World So Cold, Just Like You, Break, Lifetime, I Hate Everything About You, Never Too Late, and they ended with their notorious Riot. Or it's just Riot, but their notorious song, Riot.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. I think it was around Pain or The Mountain. So, 6 or 7, basically those two songs. I think it was right around that little block where I looked at our playlist to figure out what the set list was when we saw them in Minneapolis with Shinedown. Because I forgot this was a co-headlining tour. And I was like, well, shit, we only have a couple of songs left, right?
Like, what are they going to play sort of thing?
And also, like, is it also the exact same set list? So I pulled that up and looked and was like, all right, I think there's I Am Machine. I don't think they played that. Or Animal I Have Become. One of those two songs they didn't play at Minneapolis, I think.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, all right, where are we at? And sure enough, should have been almost over. But they kept going and going. And by the time, Just Like You, their 10th track, where they bring two fans on stage, I was like, oh, wait, never mind. This is probably a co-headliner show because this is something I think they only do at their headlining shows. We've seen it one other time in Denver.
Yep.
For their headlining show. Every time we've seen 3 Days Grace has been as an opener other than that other time. And that was the only other time they did this little bit where they brought two fans on stage to sing the song alongside them. An interesting sort of segment, I guess, for the song of bringing fans on to sing, right? Like, did you enjoy that? Do you enjoy when bands do stuff like that?
Do I normally enjoy it?
Yeah, like, do you enjoy that sort of, like, we've seen it a couple times. Disturbed did it once at Hogfest.
Yeah.
For Sickness. And then I think these guys are the only other times.
Well, Green Day
Green Day does their
guitar thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I have an opinion of it. I liked seeing it here in Chicago better than when we saw it in Denver, because in Denver, I think we have a podcast on it, but one of the people that came up to sing didn't even know the song.
Yeah, you were saying that, like,
and it was like, you're just a pretty person, so you got to be on stage. Where these two people who came up, like, knew the song, sang, moved around with the band, like, not copying the band, but, you know, like...
No, they were dancing around, jumping around, doing their thing.
Yeah, what I was going into is, like, not copying the band, but, like, if Matt put his foot up on the riser thing or whatever, one of the people would put their foot up on the riser thing, that sort of thing. That's what I mean. Like, I wasn't saying, like, they were copying them, but like, you know, or they were like moving around and moving their hands and, you know, not just like standing there and singing.
Yeah.
Or not just standing there and being pretty like the one in Denver.
Yeah, that seems to really frustrate you that she was on stage in Denver.
Well, it was just the fact that I'm sure that there was a lot of fans there that actually knew the song and would actually like to sing. And then you have this person there that's just like standing without even like just so.
I don't like, I get that. I do. I was thinking, watching these two individuals on stage for this performance at this show, that if I knew a song like Metallica Brings Me on Stage or something, and I know the lyrics, I don't know if I would do anything. Like, I don't know if I would freeze or not, right? Like, it's get very nervous very quick, I would think. Yeah. And I could see people freezing up and not knowing what to do. And so, I mean, that could have been the issue with Denver. Maybe not. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't think so. She did a lot of posing for freezing up. That's all I got.
I don't remember. I think I was going to the bathroom or something.
You were,
so I don't remember that part at all.
Yeah.
So I have no comment on that.
You just asked if I liked it. I liked this performance.
Yeah, that's all I was trying to say.
Better than...
And then with these two, like I was saying, one of the individuals was definitely more, and I guess where I was trying to go is, one of them was definitely more, not an introvert, an extrovert. She was definitely more of an extrovert, where she is dancing around, jumping around a little bit, singing, headbanging and shit, having a blast doing it. The other one, not as much of an introvert, not much, like somewhere in the middle, because I do feel like she was like not freezing up a little bit, but very hesitant to do stuff. And then that's where Matt would come around, like grab her on the shoulder, put his foot up, and she would mimic at that point. Not mimic, but like, okay, it's okay to walk around.
I think
it's okay
it was,
to do things.
So are you meaning like right when it first started?
Yes,
where like they were both just standing there, and then one of them, you know, started moving around a little bit before the other one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I wouldn't even get on stage. Who am I talking about?
That's what I'm saying, right?
But I mean,
but they got on stage, they sung, they moved around, they had a blast.
You could hear them singing too.
Good for them. Like, they enjoyed it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a detriment to the show.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that bit. I think it can be a hit and miss. I think we brought this up during the Hogfest podcast of Disturbed bringing somebody on to sing Sickness, like one of your main songs, the song that's typically your closer, and you're gonna let this guy sing the song with you. And
I think the guy was somebody. I don't think
we talked about that.
We just don't know who it is. So
somehow they knew like this guy could actually hold his own and sing.
Yeah.
But we talked about that there, where if you don't know that and you're just pulling two random people or a random person out, you could ruin your set potentially, as well as not just ruin your set, but like, I guess ruin your set. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is, as an audience member, if it's shit, I'm gonna be pissed. That like, what the fuck? Why? Like, just do a meet and greet or some shit, or come down and give a signed whatever the fuck. Or
I get what you're saying.
Green Days is really good where it's, do you know how to play the bass? Yep. All right, get up here, show me.
Do you actually know how to play?
Right, and we saw that. I think the first time we saw Green Day,
where
it's
I don't
like
remember.
Somebody got up, didn't know how to play. I was like, all right, get the fuck off. And then the next person comes up, like, okay. But even that, like I said, if you're not like, you got to be boom, 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 because it can be a mood killer for sure.
Yeah.
But
there's a video on social media of a young boy who gets up with Hyperville and can sing, and he's moving around and everything on the stage. It's really, really cool. But like, these people were adults, obviously. Well, I'm assuming adults. They looked adults. But, like, I even think it's better when you have a child doing it, but also that's even more risky of can they actually perform?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about that until you brought that up. There's been a lot of stuff like that where I think Dave Grohl for Foo Fighters brought a kid up and they played like Metallica or some shit. Like the kid came up and played Metallica.
Yeah. Yeah, like on the guitar, right?
Yeah, and like cool. It's really cool for that kid. It's a great opportunity. It's a great memory he's going to have. I don't know if I like it. And now I'm going back on what I said about this just like you bit, right? Where it's like, let's bring two people on. Like, it's really cool for those two people. Part of me is like, I don't care. Like, I'm not that big of a fan. Like I said, Metallica's my favorite band. If I had the opportunity to go on stage and do something, I don't know if I would. I think I might turn that down and be like, no, I'm
good.
I'm good. Like I'm here to see you play. I'm here to enjoy the show.
You're all about you're all about the dance monkey dance thing. Like, give me a good show. That's all I want.
Kinda, yeah. To some like I don't know. It's
I know what you mean.
It's a double-edged sword. It really is. Of like,
it is really cool for the fans that get chosen though to go on stage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Disturbed is really cool with their reason to fight aspect of like, what?
Yeah.
Like, here's the struggle you're going.
Be able to do that. I mean,
yeah, I know it's super emotional and
talk about your struggles, and I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do that.
I'm not that brave to do that either.
Yeah.
But that I'm fine with because it's. I don't know. There's a thin line, like a very thin line between what I'm okay with and what I'm not, and I haven't figured that out yet. But anyway, they do something like that here for Just Like You.
Yeah. I thought it was fun. So we have seen. This is the Explosions tour.
Yes, you brought that up when we were at merch. You're like, "What the fuck? This is still the Explosions tour?"
Like, I mean, there was no tour name, but like for them to still have Explosions merch on their tour shirts, I was just like, "Holy shit!" Like we saw them 2 years ago, right? Or a year ago.
A year ago, yeah.
Oh, okay. See, it seemed like so long ago, but it was just last summer that we saw them twice.
The first time we saw them, 2019 with Disturbed.
Yeah.
And that was before the explosion.
Right. No, I'm saying, so when we saw them at Upheaval in Denver, that was last summer.
Yes, that was last summer.
In my mind, it was 2 summers ago.
We saw them again last year, too. We saw them 3 times last year?
We saw them 3 times last year. Oh, at Hogfest. They were at Hogfest last year, and then we saw them at Upheaval.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were after Asking Alexandria.
So it was In Flames, Asking Alexandria, them, and then Godsmack.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we've seen this tour 5 times now.
Yes, this iteration of the tour, twice as a headliner, 3 times as an opener.
Yes.
Is that it? I thought it might be more.
No, it's 5 times.
Okay.
But anyways, what I was going to say out of that is that it was kind of fun. We know the banter now of like how the song's going to start, or like the little thing like, oh, Minneapolis, you make us feel right at home.
Yeah.
Or Chicago, you make us feel right at home.
Yeah.
So then you know that they're going into home. The mountain, like I even did, my little thing was like the little Price is Right dude climbing the mountain. Yeah. And you're like, what is that? I'm like,
I picked it up after you, but you just did like straight across. Like, what the fuck is like?
Oh, no, like going up the mountain.
That was like a caterpillar, like walking across something.
Yeah. So you and I had a lot of fun trying to think of what song was coming.
Yeah, I remember, I think Never Too Late or I Hate Everything About You. One of those 2 songs started, and I like tap you on the shoulder, you're next to me, and you kind of look over at me, and then I like push you.
Oh, that was Never Too Late. You were too early.
There were a couple women behind us that like looked at it. I saw like out of my peripheral, just like, what the fuck is this all about? And then you like smiled and like, I thought it was Riot, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a riot. And
I was like, no, it's not Riot.
And the only thing that it reminded me of is the Boondocks, the cartoon show from Adult Swim, where there's one part in it where Riley, one of the kids, is like, all you need to do to start a riot is throw a folding chair into a crowd, and that will start a riot. And at the end of the episode, he like just flings a folding chair in, lands in the middle, hits no one, and everybody like stands there and looks at the chair, looks at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And then all of a sudden somebody throws a punch and then a riot starts. And he's like, see, I was right. I may have brought that story up again early on in a different podcast, but
I don't remember you saying that before.
every time I think of Riot, that song, Let's Start a Riot, that's what I go to. It's like, all right, who's going to throw a folding chair, basically.
That's funny.
And that was my thought of like, I'm just going to push you. And then, yeah, start a mosh pit or a riot. I was wrong. It was a couple songs too early, but
I think you did it before Never Too Late.
I think so.
Because it was, I think you thought it was going to go, I Hate Everything About You, and then go straight into Riot.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But all in all, we've seen them a lot. We've talked about them a lot. Obviously, we've seen them a lot, but I really enjoyed 3 Days Grace.
Yeah, I enjoy, like, I just enjoy their music. I don't know. It's fun.
One other thing real quick to bring up. We started on stage left and had a decent spot on there, and they're starting to set up the stage and everything. It's like, oh, let's go on stage right. Because that's Barry's side, the guitar player. And I don't know what qualifies as a good guitar player, but this motherfucker goes through so many goddamn picks. Like,
but he only goes through them because he's tossing them out.
I guess that's the kind of joke I was trying to go at.
Oh,
it's
okay.
like, a good guitar player doesn't go through 200 fucking picks in one show. Barry fucking does. It's his mic. It's not even a mic stand. It's just like a stand designed for his picks, and it's a fuck ton of picks going up and down, like all around in a circle. And by the end of the night, they're all gone basically. And yeah, he's just taking handfuls and throwing them out like boom, 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 as he's got a lull moment or something. Just like take a few off, throw them in the crowd. Take a few off, throw them in the crowd. So the thought was, if we go to his side, there's a higher probability of getting a pick. We didn't get one. I just thought that was funny. I'm trying to make a joke that didn't really work out.
Didn't work out for you?
Did not work out for me. It worked out better in my head than it did in real life.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I was like, we need to be a little bit closer to get a pick.
Probably. We do. They didn't quite go as far as we were standing back.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we weren't very far back, though.
We weren't, no.
But, I mean, for Chevelle, we were further back, but that's because we had to use the restroom.
Yeah. But for me, I used to be jaded. I used to not like 3 Days Grace.
I feel like when we saw them in Denver, you didn't like them.
No, I enjoyed it. It was good.
I thought you said you got bored.
I did get bored by the end of it.
Oh, okay.
I did get bored by the end of it because it's radio music, right?
Yeah.
And the songs all kind of sound the same to some extent, even though they're not. And like I've said this before in the past, 3 Days Grace, 3 Days Grace, Shinedown, and Pop Evil 3. There's probably a couple other ones in there. Oh, Breaking Benjamin's in there for sure. Where to me, they all kind of blend together because they're all on the radio and they're all sort of played, not typically back to back to back, but when you hear one, you might hear the other one or something along those lines. Like you're going to hear this on the radio a lot. And growing up, we heard this music a lot on the radio. Yeah. So it kind of did I got bored quick. Not quick, but by the end of Denver, I definitely got bored. It's like,
but we had also just seen them a couple weeks before.
That too,
at
yes.
Upheaval, so.
And we hadn't seen them it's been a few months since we saw them in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad it was a full set instead of just an opening set for sure.
Me too, yeah.
But yeah, that's all I really have for this particular performance. We've talked about them before. I don't know if you have anything else to add, but yeah, great show.
No, yeah, it was good. I'm actually ready to see them again. I think their shows are really fun. So.
Agreed. I do want to see it again, but I kind of want them to take a break and get back with new music.
I want new music too, yeah.
Like you said, this is the Explosion Tour again.
Yeah.
They've been touring on this since that album came out, 2021?
I thought it came out in 2021, so
2 years. So I guess that's not that bad. Some bands tour with albums for a long ass fucking time.
Yeah.
And they're hitting.
We're just those people that are like, get new music now.
Yeah. And I mean, they are bouncing around a bit.
Yeah.
They haven't been to Chicago, I think, since 2019 with Disturbed.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, I mean, we are going to a lot of shows, so we're seeing them in different venues, different
That's
locations.
what I was saying, is like, we've seen them 5 times on the same music, even though we're not followers of 3 Days Grace. It's not, I mean, like, Disturbed or Avatar, yeah, we'll see them at multiple shows. But 3 Days Grace isn't a band that we're doing that for, but we have seen the same show basically 5 times.
Yep.
But that is because we're going to multiple different places, and they're playing with different people too.
They are, yes.
The only one time that we didn't even seek out 3 Days Grace to see them, but when we were in Denver, we just happened to have a free night.
And we found them that were playing that night.
They were the first thing that came up on Bing for me to purchase tickets for. So And then Wage War was with them. So
Yeah.
we haven't talked about Wage War for a few episodes.
We have not, no. So, yeah, I agree. I want to see him again. I would like some new music to change up the set a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it is pretty repetitive after you've seen it a few times.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe it won't be as fun next time, though. We won't be able to.
But it is fun. It is enjoyable. I definitely got some of the girls scream, especially when they first started. I know that you hate that.
Well, you forgot about the hoot, 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 hoot.
Oh, shit, I did. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck that was all about.
I don't know either.
Like, all right, so you brought that up. There's a couple other things I forgot about. The crowd itself, I don't want to say was kind of weak, but the crowd was There was a part at the very beginning where they're like, 3 days grace, 3 days grace. You're supposed to chant the name back. Nobody said shit. It was very quiet.
It was very round robin where like people were saying it, but people weren't really saying it at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was like our little section was saying it, and then some people in the middle
Kind
was
of
saying
echoey.
it, and then it was echoed on the on stage left.
Yeah.
And so it sounded so weird.
It did. Maybe that's what it was. It sounded weird, off. Like it all through the night, it didn't work. Toward the end, it did a little bit, but there was a group behind us that every time you would do like the 3 days grace, you get people doing like the woo 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 or whatever the fuck. I took it as like dog barking type call type things, or like
I feel like it's a high school thing. I remember high schoolers doing it.
I do too, like the 90s, like the woo, 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 woo. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's a thing in the high school again.
I don't know. It was annoying as fuck. I hated that so much.
It didn't bother me.
Oh, it pissed me off because it's like, what the fuck? Like, this is not cool. This is like, if you think you're trying to be cool, this isn't cool. This is annoying as shit. I don't get it. Maybe that's
You're just an old man who's grumpy.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I did not enjoy that.
No, I guess in my mind, at first I'm like, what's going on? But then I was just like, whatever. They're having a good time.
Fair.
Like, people are allowed to have a good time. They're not bothering anybody. They stop before the song starts. It's not like they're doing it through the middle of the song. So, I don't know.
Maybe.
Stop being a grumpy old man.
Maybe I need to do that. I don't know.
I would go with that over the girl scream any day.
I'll take the girl scream over that.
Really?
I don't like the girl scream, but I don't like that woo woo woo. Like, no. All right, maybe that's what it is. I understand the girl scream. I don't understand the wooting.
Yeah.
Like at Ailstorm, you'd have the woot calls.
Hoot, hoot, hoot.
Hoot, hoot, hoot. Yeah, the hoot calls. But that makes sense. It's part of the show. It's part of the bit.
Yeah.
And not Ailstorm. It was Glory Hammer that brought that part.
Wait, are we missing something? Is there like a...
I don't know. Maybe there is. I don't know. And that's the thing. I don't understand it. So I don't know why it's there. Why are you doing this? Why don't you just cheer? What is this? Is this your way of cheering? I don't get it. The girl scream, I get. You're excited. It's your favorite band. Women have higher pitched voices. So when you scream, it's that high pitched scream. So I understand that. I don't understand the woot. So I think that's where I'm at. It's like, if I understood that, maybe I'd prefer that. I definitely don't enjoy the girl scream. Don't get me wrong. Because it is high pitched and a little annoying at times. But I understand why it's there. I understand what's happening.
I guess every time I hear the girl scream, I just think of like the videos of the girls with the Beatles where they're like, like all over the Beatles. And like, so whenever I hear that scream, that's what I think people are doing. And I'm like, you're over dramatic.
I can see that, but I also don't think that's what's happening.
Well, no, but that's what I always think of.
I know. It makes me also laugh, though, thinking about that, because, I mean, that's, I think, one of the reasons the Beatles quit touring is because of the girl scream, right? At least that's the story I always heard of.
Like, weren't they playing somewhere and they couldn't even hear themselves?
I believe in Met Stadium whoever the fuck was the New York team at the time, not the Yankees. But they were playing at their baseball stadium and, couldn't hear themselves. There's, video, apparently. I've never seen it. Of this, blah, bloop, blah, 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 bloop. And then making just weird-ass noises.
Because you couldn't hear them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think their last show wasn't even a sellout. Because they abruptly said, we're not touring anymore. And because it wasn't, a long, drawn-out, this is our final tour, our final performance. Like a lot of bands do now. I think Motley Crue's had 12 different
how
final
many did
tours.
Slayer have before they were done?
Anyway, we're getting a little off topic.
We are. Oh, yeah, let's go to Chevelle.
Yeah, let's. 3 Days Grace, awesome. Want to see him again. Chevelle it is. So why don't you tell us what the set list was?
So they started with Verrucht. I don't know how to say that. An Island, Door to Door Cannabis, Self Destructor, Vitamin R, Leading Us Along, Young Wicked, Joyride Omen, Face to the Floor, Pistol Star, Gravity Heals, The Clincher, Forfeit, Send the Pain Below, The Red, Comfortable Liar, I Get It, and then they ended with Mars Simula. A lot of their songs have like 2 names.
Yeah, they have like the parenthesis names.
Yeah.
And by a lot, 3.
Oh, true. 3. Three's a lot.
3's a lot. Yeah. Any more than 1 with parentheses is a lot.
Yeah.
I think you don't really see that too often.
No.
But then again, Loathe had that paragraph long song name earlier.
That's true.
So again, maybe they could have learned from Chevelle and used parentheses there. The heavy head with thoughts in parentheses or something like that. I don't know. Combine both bands here.
We're being very negative about song names today.
I don't know. I like we both said we like that.
Oh,
song.
I do like it. Yeah.
It's just long as shit.
Yeah.
So
I bet nobody says that. I bet they just say heavy head.
Maybe. I don't know.
Could you imagine walking up to somebody and being like, "What's your favorite Loathe song?"
Oh, that's it. That's my favorite one now. And I'm always gonna say it that way.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Okay.
Anyway.
Any hoodles.
Chevelle. Seen them. This is our 3rd time seeing them. First time as a headliner.
Wait, what was the first time we saw them?
Open Air, 2016.
Oh.
I'm 99% positive they were there.
Right. Because I liked them, or I didn't like them.
Neither one of us really liked them at that time. And so I know exactly why I did not like them.
Okay, why didn't you?
In like 8th grade, 7th grade, somewhere in middle school, they came out with their first album. And maybe it was their second album, maybe it was their first album, I can't remember. But I remember being in homeroom or being in a class or something, and one of the kids there was like, I don't like Chevelle. Their album sucks. Every single song sounds exactly the same. And I think it was during their second album, not their first, because the second album came out and it's the same shit they had in their first album.
Oh, okay.
Just it all sounds the same.
So they're talking about Disturbed?
There's a lot of bands they could be talking about, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, fuck that. I'm not going to get into a band if all their shit sounds identical.
You're very impressionable.
I was.
Middle school and high school. Like
yeah.
If you want to be not cool, but like you didn't want to listen to something or do something that somebody else didn't think was cool.
And to be fair, I've been that way a lot in my life. I'm starting to get out of it, and I've been getting out of it for a while now, I think. But especially earlier on in life, I was definitely that way. But that's why I was like, I got away from Chevelle. I know it was definitely around their first. See, that's why I can't remember. It's very fuzzy, but I remember that happening in that sort of conversation.
Yeah.
What album it was, I don't know. But I remember The Red for sure and being like, oh, I really like that song. That's a really good song. And it is. I really enjoy that song. This is also the same kid that later in high school brought in a CD that he had gotten from somebody at the college in town. I don't remember how he acquired this CD, if he found it, stole it, or what, right? But he's like, I don't like it. Who wants it? So I took it, popped it in. It was this blue kind of cover with like this witch woman on it and words in German, it looked like. And I put it in, listened to just like the first 30, 40 seconds of it. And I was like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. And I remember taking my headphones out and being like, this is actually really good. I like this. And he's like, no, this is fucking garbage music. This is shit music. It's bad. Took the CD from me. We were in art class, took like a little knife that we were using to like carve shit out. Started scratching the fucking back of it. X's all over the place so you can't play it. Then took a marker to it and drew marker all over it. Then gave it back to me. He's like, there, it's shit music. Nobody's ever going to hear this again. I cleaned it up, cleaned the marker off, did the best I could to get rid of the scratches. I eventually got it to play like 10 seconds or 5 seconds or just very, very small amount of time. It would play for a little bit, then skip, play a little bit, skip, and then boom, we can't play this CD. There's just too much we can't play. So I had to like translate the German into English to try to figure out what the album was. Took me forever to fucking do this because I don't think there was like Google Translate at the time or anything. Turns out it was Cradle of Filth. And
in German?
It was like a German version of the CD.
Okay.
And I was like, holy shit, all right. I now love Cradle of Filth. Like, Cradle of Filth is great. I love them. I don't want to say I get his opinion of, oh, it's garbage music. I can see why it's, I don't want to say offensive, but I can see why people don't like it.
Well, it's not radio music either.
Definitely not radio music.
So.
And this is probably a kid who, big time Bieber, Kanye fan.
Oh,
now.
fuck him then.
Right. So, like, that's the kind of music they're probably listening to today.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So,
anyways, don't take your music thoughts from him.
Don't take your music thoughts from anyone.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I guess that's the whole point of
just
this.
don't listen to Bieber or Kanye.
But again, don't take your don't listen to what other people say is good or bad. Like, don't even listen to us. Like, these are our opinions on what we thought of a particular show or a particular band. Music is art, is subjective. So don't be impressionable by other people. Go out, listen to it yourself, make your own opinion.
Take recommendations, but if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Exactly.
Or if they don't like it, don't be like, "Oh, I'm not listening to it." Like,
and you shouldn't either. Like, no, Go ahead, go listen to it, and if you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you enjoy Justin Bieber, go ahead. I'm sorry that you live a sheltered life, I guess.
Yeah.
Someday you'll find good music, I hope. Same like that. There's that like clip going around now, or that I just recently saw of like, what would you say to country or non-country music fans? You're missing out. And that little kid like,
I don't think I am.
I don't think I am. And then it like cuts into the one I saw cuts into Foo Fighters. There goes my hero. And it's like, oh, that's fucking perfect editing.
That was filmed here in Chicago too.
I thought so,
yeah,
right?
Outside of the
at
United
like Lake
Center.
Shake or something.
Yeah, I think they do like. Well, no, I don't think it's Lake Shake, but there's like a festival thing at the United Center. Like they do like ribs or something, and then they have a concert.
The Windy City Smokeout.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah.
I don't know. That was hilarious. The whole point, like I'm trying to say, is go listen to music yourself, figure it out for yourself. Anyway, that's why
bye. That sounded like an ending to the.
It did sound like an ending
to the podcast.
That's the way to get back on track in terms of that is why I did not like Chevelle.
Okay.
We saw them live for the first time 2016 at Open Air. It was a great performance. I enjoyed it a lot. I think you came around and you really liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I said it so many times, but in 2016, I only listened to 2 bands. So, well, mainly. And it was Disturbed in Linkin Park. So, like, there is a lot of bands that I've found at Open Air. I mean, we'd heard their songs on the radio and stuff, but.
One of them was also Pop Evil that you heard, and you're like, I really like them.
Yeah.
And we completely forgot about them until this year when we saw them at Concord.
Yeah.
And another one
when like a song starts and it's like, holy shit, I know this song.
Yep.
Yeah. That's kind of fun. We're going to run out of those after we see so many more shows.
We are, yeah. But yeah, then we saw them being Chevelle last year with Disturbed and Lamb of God.
At Summerfest, yeah.
That was a really weird show because I don't feel like, well, maybe not. I think Chevelle fit that bill. I think Lamb of God did not fit that bill.
Yeah.
Chevelle and Disturbed are very similar.
I was happy that Lamb of God was there, though. But yeah, I think especially, not even just Lamb of God being with Disturbed and Chevelle, but Lamb of God being at that festival.
Yeah, that too.
Because I'm happy that they were there because you need to bring in these bands that are not, I don't want to say radio because Lamb of God's played on the radio, but not like mainstream radio, I guess. Because only a few songs I think are played.
I don't think anything is.
Oh, they don't play like Omens or anything?
No, I don't think anything's played on the radio for Lamb of God.
I felt like
unless
they would.
Unless like XM radio or some shit.
Oh. I figured like Laser would play like Omens or something.
Laser barely fucking plays
That's true.
Slipknot.
That's true.
And Slipknot's definitely more radio friendly than Lamb of God.
That's true. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is like I'm glad that the festival had them there.
Yeah.
Granted, it was on a Thursday night, which I think was bullshit, which I think that they were like, oh, we need the metal acts on Thursday night so people don't do anything stupid. But whatever. That
was your interpretation of that.
What it was. And also, like, the guys, like, the head of security is like, nobody gets on my stage. Like, make sure nobody gets on my stage.
Oh, I didn't take it that way.
And I'm just like, what the fuck do you think we're going to be doing?
I took that as, like, training the new kid. Because there were a few new people he was training at that particular show. And being like, if somebody's rushing the stage, you have the right to tackle.
Yeah, I get it.
That's how I took that.
before going to see that, we had watched the Woodstock 99 thing.
Maybe, yeah.
Like more recent before that show, or like last year. But I don't know. Like, I just felt like that whole thing was like, got to have metal on Thursday so people are calmer.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought that it was fine having Chevelle, Lamb of God, and Disturbed.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that was
You would choose like a more radio music.
The Chevelle and Disturbed fit better together than Disturbed. I also agree. We've said this before, or I've said this before. I like a lot of diversity in my set list, or my bill. And by bill, I mean your acts.
Your lineup?
Your lineup, yeah. So I enjoy the diversity in there, and that was a good diversity, but typically I don't think I would think of those three bands playing together. Even Disturbed and Lamb of God, even though apparently they played together a lot, don't seem to meld that well together, in my opinion. But I enjoyed the set. I enjoyed it a lot. All of that to say, once again, I'm getting
Let's
off
get
track.
back to this concert.
Getting back to this concert. This was our first time seeing Chevelle as a headliner.
Yes, yeah.
A co-headliner, but the last headliner, so kind of the headliner.
Yeah. I do want to go back to the last show that we saw of them last summer.
Oh, go ahead.
So we were on rail, but like on stage left on rail, I think.
Yes.
And pretty close to the speakers.
The speakers are like right in front of us.
So like when Chevelle started, like you could even see the security shirt moving because the bass was so high.
Yeah.
And like you could feel your skin moving.
You could feel the bass.
Yeah. I loved it.
I thought it was great too.
But
I'm glad I had headphones during that. Yeah, you didn't, but
no.
I had headphones and I'm glad I did.
What?
Yeah, see, exactly.
But so I said before we even went to the show at Aragon, I was like, I wonder if you're going to hear the bass. And you were like, well, no, because you're not going to be right in front of the speakers, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as they started, I was like, I like did my hands like this, like you can feel the bass.
Could you feel it?
Yeah.
I couldn't really feel it.
It was pretty hard. I mean, it's not as hard as when we were right in front of the speakers,
right.
But they still had that very strong bass. I guess that's the part that I was like, I wonder if they still have that really strong bass or if it was just to set up that night.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because when I listen to Chevelle on Spotify, I don't hear that.
You don't get the bass that much. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand. I know. Remember we had to talk about that in a little tiff about it that night.
A discussion.
Yeah, a little discussion about that night where I was like, "No, you're not going to feel it." And like, that's not what I meant. And like, whatever. We're not going to rehash all that. But
no, let's do it right now on the podcast.
Fuck that. We're not doing that. I get what you're saying now. I was talking about we weren't going to feel it being as far back as we were in terms of. I felt it on my skin, my face moving. Yeah. Like you're not going to feel that far back. I guess that's what I was trying to elaborate on the other night. Hearing the bass and like feeling a little bit of the bump. Like sure, yes.
Yeah.
I guess I got a little bit of that.
Yeah. The only other thing, well, not the only other thing. Sorry. Another thing that I noticed was you could feel the bass, but there was like the drum set. Was so off. Like on the one, every ting of the one.
Tonight or at this show?
Chevelle, at the show that we're talking about, the Aragon show. So like every ting on the one was like, it seemed more of a ting than like that was like how they were keeping beat or whatever. And it was really bugging me.
Okay.
Do you remember me bringing that up?
I don't know.
Wait. I brought it, like, I think I even texted you. I'm like, hey, do you hear that?
I guess
like,
I didn't understand what you were talking about. And I kind of don't now, but I kind of do also. It's weird.
I think it's on, like, a snare. Sorry, I don't know the drum setup, but I think it's on a snare. And, like, but it's more of a ting than, like, the sound.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
So it's, like, ting. And, like, I was hearing that so much. And I don't remember that when listening to Chevelle music. So, and I haven't listened to their set that we heard, so I need to listen to it on Spotify to see if you hear it. But I don't know if it was just how it was set up or like, you know how they have mics around the drum sets and everything, like that was just picking it up or something. Maybe. But at the beginning, like towards the end, I really didn't notice it again. But like the first like 3 or 4 songs, like that's all I could focus on is like the ting, ting, ting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that. It's like ting, play, ting, because that was like their one. And then you play.
Right, is there a way to keep time and whatnot?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. It was just the 3 of them, like you said, bass, drum, guitar.
Has it always been 3?
I think so. I think just
really?
a 3-piece band.
Yeah.
they had the 3 like little cones behind them, like these little LED cone things for lights.
What were those for?
It was lights as well as sort of a LED screen. I think if you played them fast enough, you could get like we have a few images where there's like a face displayed on them. So I think it's just like an optical illusion.
I did not get that from the crowd, and even when so we didn't leave, but we went downstairs like probably around
a little bit before the red. So I want to say
like the clincher maybe
somewhere around there.
Yeah. Oh no, it must have been around like Pistol Star because we came up during forfeit.
Did we? Okay.
And we stayed down there for a couple songs. So, but anyways, before going down, I was like, I have not seen those do anything. Like, what are they for?
Oh.
So I don't know if I just wasn't at the right angle because you're saying like you could like see images or whatever.
In between sets, there was somebody who also pointed this out, and I saw it too, where they basically had a game of Pong being played across them.
Really?
So you could see like the little line movement and everything. That could just be their testing and whatnot.
How did I miss? Like, I honestly did not see anything.
I thought they would come out through those.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Sort of like Avatar does with their little
like
photo
that's where they
booth
would
things.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, they came off.
I need to look at our photos.
From stage left, they just sort of came off and walked in and whatnot.
Yeah. I'll have to look through the photos that you took because and then like, well, anyways, I was gonna say like after when we came back up during forfeit, we even stood back and like I didn't see those being used at all. So I was just like, what are they for? But I'll have to look at the photos and see what the designs were.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of a stage design and setup, it was a little cool, but then it got, I don't want to say lame, but just kind of boring, and there wasn't a whole lot going on.
I feel like 3 Days Grace used the backdrop or the
they had their own
the
like,
LED light.
Yeah,
better.
they had their like LED that we've talked about, where you have like a straight LED, a smaller one that the drum kit stands on, and then another LED that goes straight across, and that way that's sort of like your barrier as well as your like wall, as well as now a screen that you can play stuff on because at the front of it's LEDs, and then your drum kit can be higher up. So
So with Chevelle, the drums were on stage right, and they were on like risers, so they were like
it was raised a little
raised
bit,
up, and then in the middle was lead vocals with guitar, and then on the left side was the bass.
Your bass all the way to the left.
Yeah. So it was a very simple setup. Also, I mean, you did have like those LED lights or whatever, but it's a very simple setup. Where I was standing because we were in the back because we did go downstairs and then came back up.
Yeah, we started toward the back middle, went downstairs, and then came back up, and we're further in the back, and that little walkway thing that.
I meant like when we saw most of the show.
Oh, okay, so in that back area.
But we went downstairs and then came back up.
Yep.
Between 3 Days Grace and Chevelle, and so we didn't. We're just not pushed through people. We could have probably pushed through or moved closer to the front.
There was room too, but it wasn't a band that we needed to be super close for by any means.
But just how the crowd was like positioned, I could basically only see the drums, and then sometimes I could see the vocals, but I could never see the bassist when we were there. So then when we went on to the back walkway, which is elevated, I could actually see the whole stage then.
Yeah, I could too. There's a lot of times where it was sort of a darker stage. Again, a lot more red light, especially for obviously the red.
Yeah.
But yeah, very simple stage setup, very simple stage design. Got some use out of the LED little tripod things or the little TP things they had.
Maybe if you could find, when we're editing this, if you could find a photo to put up.
Yeah, sure. We can do
just
that.
to see what
we'll see
those TPs look like.
Yeah. But you talked about this at an earlier podcast of not liking when I'm standing in a line, I have my spot to stand in, I have my thing. And that's kind of how it was. A little bit of just, this is my spot, this is my thing, I'm going to...
Yeah, that was for Breaking Benjamin. I made that comment.
Yeah.
Because they were like, boom, 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 boom.
But same thing here. It was boom, 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 and you didn't really move around a lot. There was a little bit of movement, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Looking back at the show we saw last year with them being like right on the rail, same thing. Sort of, here's my spot, here's where I stand.
That's true, yeah.
But being close, you would see that it's not just standing. They're bouncing around, jumping, headbanging, having a good time, getting into the music for sure.
Yeah.
From the distance, a little hard to see. You would see some of that by no means. By no means. You definitely would see some of that while watching it from a distance, but you don't get as much, or it doesn't like I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
whatever.
just don't see it as much.
Yeah.
So one thing with Breaking Benjamin is every once in a while the lead vocal, Benjamin. Is his name Benjamin?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. But he also played guitar sometimes. So it makes sense with Chevelle that the lead has to kind of stay in one spot because he can't hold a mic and play the guitar. That would be pretty.
I mean,
you could have different mic stands set up and move around, but otherwise you're pretty much staying in one spot. With Breaking Benjamin, they didn't really need to stand in a line. I think it's just their look.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you know what I mean. So when you're a vocal and a guitar player, because we've seen a lot of doom metal bands where they only have a 3-piece band as well, and they just stand in one spot.
That's fair. Why? Yeah, that's fair. Why is it okay for some and not okay for others? I guess.
don't know.
It's the same thing.
Am I just being too critiquey on?
I don't think
you
so.
Need to move?
It's.
I mean, I don't want to move. I don't have energy like that. But
no, when you said with Breaking Benjamin, I kind of agreed with you a little bit. Where it's like, I would like to see more movement, more shit on stage. Mm-hmm. And then you did just bring up the doom aspect, and that's true. A lot of times it's, here's my spot. Also, though, a lot of those stages are very tiny. You see those in small ass clubs. Yeah. This is a larger stage.
I understand. Yeah.
I don't know why. Sometimes I'm okay with it. Sometimes I'm not.
But if we go back to Denver Beer and Metal Fest or Decibel Beer and Metal Fest that we saw last year in Denver, some bands use that stage to its full advantage. So you can't really just say it's a small stage.
I don't know. That's not a good. I don't have a good answer. I guess
I know.
It was a good point you brought up. I don't have a good answer for it, and I don't understand why. Sometimes I'm okay with it. Sometimes I'm not. Same thing with, we like to be standing in the pit or standing in GA, not in the pit, but standing in GA.
You like to be where they're like.
Yeah, I'll stand in the middle of the pit and let them do a circle around me. No, we like to be standing in GA. We don't like to be in seats, but sometimes we like to be in seats. So why is it appropriate? Why are we okay with it sometimes and not? I don't have a good answer for that, but sometimes I don't know. It's weird. I've never actually given it much thought. Yeah. Anywho, and then kind of stage setup, kind of stage performance.
It was okay.
It was fine. It was completely fine and adequate. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't, oh my God, that was amazing. Yeah. It was fine.
I do have to say, I enjoyed Chevelle more last year when we saw them at Summerfest than I did this show.
I did too. And
I'm not sure why, because I do know why. For Summerfest, it wasn't their tour, and they played a lot of old songs that we knew from the radio.
Yeah, that's true. I can't remember if they played Hats Off to the Bowl or not. I don't think they did, but that's one song I really, really enjoy of theirs.
And you want to hear it.
Didn't play it here. Yeah. I don't know if they played it in 2016.
Yeah, I don't remember 2016.
I don't either, but like that was when I came back to Chevelle, that was one of the songs that got me back into them. It just kind of came on shuffle and be like, oh shit, I like this song. And then finding out it was Chevelle, I was like, all right, let's fucking go. Let's do this. But yeah, and anyway, like you said, it wasn't their main show. So like I said, I wanted to see Hats Off to the Bull. I was hoping I'd see that here. I don't know if we've ever heard that live, maybe 2016. But like I said, that was the song that got me back into sort of like, oh, all right, I can give Chevelle another chance. That's 2016, 2017-ish when I started like, whatever, I'm going to listen to my own thing. I'm going to like my own stuff. I'm tired of listening to other people.
Yeah, we kind of changed our music.
Yeah.
Back. Yeah.
That's when we definitely started. That's when we started getting back into live music.
Yeah. I feel like from like the mid 2010s, early 2010s or mid 2010s, it was like, what's on the radio? What are people playing at work? Like that sort of thing. That's what we listened to. And now we're back to like, we like this.
Yeah, but like that was, like I said, Hats Off to the Bowl and a few other, I can't remember what they were, but got me back into Chevelle and wanted to hear it. Didn't hear it here, but
I wonder if they ever play it live.
They might not. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this whole thing. Anyway, wrapping it up, just continued the conversation. speaking of radio, you brought that up a couple times. I brought that up a few times. Apparently, this was hosted by a radio station also, because in between
Oh yeah, they came out.
Chevelle, the radio
Yeah.
station, I can't remember what radio
Yeah.
station because we don't listen to Chicago
Yeah.
radio.
Yeah.
Came out and talked, and they're like, "Are you ready for the hometown boys to play again?"
Yeah, hometown.
That really pisses you off. I know, especially when somebody says they're from a place and they're like, You're not from that place. Where are they from?
Grays Lake, Illinois,
Where is that?
almost Wisconsin.
Not even a burb. That's not even
No,
a burb.
you cannot even call it a burb.
No.
I would not call it a burb. It's like you're basically at the Wisconsin border.
Don't the burbs basically go all the way up to the Wisconsin border?
I don't know. I would not call that. It has to be at least an hour away.
Would you call that Chicago land?
Would you call Fox Lake, where you guys went for your guys' trip, Chicagoland? Because I think it's by that.
That's questionable.
See?
That's close. Naperville is an hour away.
Yeah.
That's Chicago land.
People from Naperville should not be saying that they're from Chicago. I am sorry.
Anyway,
You are not from Chicago.
at best, I would say they're from the burbs, and I'm fine with people saying I'm from the Chicago land area.
But they don't say Chicagoland.
They
They say
don't.
I'm from Chicago.
I gotcha. I don't know why that frustrates you so much. It pissed you off in Iowa City too. Of being like people from North Liberty, like I'm in Iowa City. Wait, no, it doesn't.
No, I say I lived in near Iowa City.
Yes.
I say when we lived in the Iowa City area.
I usually just say Iowa City because it's less words and
Yeah.
people know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
Nobody knows where North Liberty is.
I get why people would say like Chicago.
Yeah.
Point is, not necessarily from Chicago, but from the area, ish.
They're from Illinois. Illinois boys.
Anyway, I know that frustrated you a little bit. I just wanted to bring that up to frustrate you a little bit
Frustrate me
more.
more?
Yep. They did bring it up with the Red a little bit, where they're like, I haven't heard the Red sung that loud.
72 degrees in Chicago right now.
They did bring it up a little bit with the Red also, where they're like, we haven't heard the Red sung that loud in so long, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good crowd interaction with the Red for sure. Definitely people singing it toward the end of their set. But yeah.
Yeah.
Before the Red, though, we did go downstairs, go to the bathroom, got another beer, and hung out down there for a little bit. You could hear it pretty well downstairs.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, it
music.
was fine. Yeah.
A lot of
It wasn't. So we didn't go downstairs for this. Like, so when we were at the Aragon and saw the interrupters, we had to go downstairs because those lights were crazy.
Yeah.
That was one reason. We just went down. I think I had to use the restroom.
You had to use the restroom, and then I
we
got a
went
beer, and we
right
kind of
downstairs.
just hung down there
Yeah.
to hear it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you could hear it just fine downstairs.
Yeah.
You also pointed out that there was a decent number of people
Yeah.
leaving.
Yeah. People are like streaming down the stairs.
And again, this is an early fucking show, so people aren't leaving.
Was there something going on last night that people had to get to?
I don't know. This wasn't last night. It was a couple nights ago, but
2 nights ago. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It was a weird time to start so fucking early. There were a lot of people leaving.
But maybe people leave the show like that all the time, and we just don't know because we don't stand by the door, or like
Maybe.
we weren't by the door, but
Yeah.
where you see people leaving.
I mean, to be fair, we went up for a couple more songs, and we did leave early too. We left before the end of the show.
Yeah, we left with like 2 songs left.
Yeah, it was
1 song left.
Yeah, it was at the very, very end of the
Yeah.
show, but we left a little bit early.
Yeah.
Got our Uber
Yeah.
at home.
Because if you need an Uber home, don't leave at showtime.
Yes, that too. I don't know. I got a little bit bored toward the end of this set,
I think I did too.
and it reminded me of, again, that kid from middle school. Being like,
Oh.
all their songs sound alike, and listening to the live set being like, all these songs sound alike.
Yeah. I don't think I was really bored. Maybe I was.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it was just like, I'm ready to hear some songs that I know, which they played at the end.
Yeah, and again, Chevelle is a more radio-friendly band,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So it's radio music with 3 Days Grace, followed by radio music with
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Chevelle.
So when you have 2 bands right in a row, then it's kind of like, I'm done.
Yeah, a
It's
little
probably the
bit.
same feeling that you had in Denver with 3 Days Grace, where it's like, okay, I've heard this. Like,
I think so. You
Let's
brought that
go.
up earlier of
Yeah.
Denver at 3 Days Grace. I was like, I'm bored.
yeah,
And it's essentially the exact same set list at Denver that it was here.
yeah,
and I didn't get bored at all during this performance. But if you had flipped Chevelle and 3 Days Grace,
you'd probably be bored.
I think I would have been completely fine during Chevelle, and then by the end of 3 Days Grace, I would have been bored.
Yeah.
And nothing against the band themselves or their music. I enjoy every aspect of it. It's really good. I enjoy it. It's fun. It sounds good. The performance was fine. It was just a fine performance, honestly. Stage set up for Chevelle, that is. But if you had flipped them, I would have felt the same way I think I did for Chevelle during 3 Days Grace.
Yeah. I think another thing is that we do see a lot of concerts. So when you do hear the same thing over and over and over, it's like, okay, let's leave this one and like basically get ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Like we're always looking for the next one.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's a good way to live, but I feel like we're always like, what's coming up next? Like who are we seeing next? Or
I don't know. I enjoy it. It's definitely live in the moment for sure. Like I'm here, I'm going to enjoy this bit.
Yeah.
But
what I'm saying is like even with Chevelle, like I think I was like, okay, I'm ready for something else.
I guess I wasn't that way.
Oh, okay.
No, I definitely I get that way the next day, not the night of.
Okay. I sometimes like even at the concert I'm like, I need something heavier. Like depending on what it is, I'm like, I need something heavier. Like I can't wait for this concert because it's gonna be heavier.
Gotcha.
Or like, oh, I can't wait for this concert because I know a lot of their songs and it's gonna be so much fun. You know, that sort of thing. Where
and again, that's why I like more diverse bills lineups, right? Is because you can start sprinkling that heavier shit in.
Yeah.
But all in all, I thought this was a perfectly fine show, perfectly serviceable show. I was happy with it. The price we paid, everything I was happy with. Few little nitpicky things here and there, but all of these bands I would definitely see again. And I look forward to new music and old music. Just I want to see them again for sure.
Yeah. We'll see them when they come around.
Yeah, definitely a good time.
Yeah.
All right, well that's it.
Okay. Bye.